Is Iran's new supreme leader actually dead, as his total absence and swirling rumors force his own family to speak out and try to calm a deeply anxious public? Has Mojtaba's father-in-law just made a shocking claim that Iran's supreme leader is in contact with no person and no institution, raising even more questions about who is really running the country? Does the mystery only deepen as Iran's supreme leader continues to stay completely off the grid, leaving Iranians guessing about his condition, his location, and his grip on power? Mojtaba Khamenei remains firmly out of sight as ever louder questions swirl over his true whereabouts and whether he is still able to exercise authority inside Iran. On July 26, Mojtaba Khamenei's father-in-law finally broke his silence, publicly commenting on the supreme leader's continued absence from all public events. Gholamali Haddad-Adel told ILNA that Mojtaba is currently not in contact with any person or institution, a statement that shocked many inside Iran's political class. The senior conservative politician explained that this extreme isolation was due to certain issues, but pointedly refused to clarify what those issues actually are. Haddad-Adel insisted that Mojtaba is healthy despite his continued public disappearance, trying to dismiss speculation that the leader may have been incapacitated. Notably, Mojtaba has not appeared in public at all since the US and Israel launched their first strikes on February 28, a gap now stretching over several months. The new supreme leader was also conspicuously absent from the funeral ceremonies for his father, Ali Khamenei, an omission that has only intensified rumors about his condition. Haddad-Adel also moved to deny reports about Mojtaba's alleged economic activities before taking office, rejecting claims that he was involved in any major business ventures. The politician claimed that Mojtaba had simply served as a cleric prior to becoming Iran's supreme leader, presenting him as a religious figure rather than a financier. According to his father-in-law, Mojtaba's only income before assuming power was the standard stipend given to seminary students, with no other significant revenue sources. Haddad-Adel described all other reports of Mojtaba's financial activities as completely false, accusing critics of spreading baseless rumors to undermine the new leader. Interestingly, these remarks came just as separate reports suggested secret talks to halt the war with the United States had quietly restarted, tying Mojtaba's silence to sensitive negotiations. US and Iran reportedly sought a return to an interim ceasefire as indirect back-channel negotiations continued, AP reported. AP reported that mediators were discussing a compromise to restore commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. According to AP, the proposal would allow Iran to oversee vessel transit while imposing fewer restrictions on maritime traffic. A regional official, speaking anonymously, said the discussions remained highly sensitive and had not been publicly acknowledged. The interim proposal reportedly aimed to reduce military tensions while keeping one of the world's busiest shipping routes operational. The same official described the current pause in US and Iranian strikes as an encouraging sign for diplomatic efforts. The temporary halt in hostilities reportedly gave mediators greater room to push negotiations aimed at preventing further escalation. AP reported that discussions over Hormuz shipping compromise were still ongoing, with no final agreement reached so far. Negotiators reportedly continued working to revive the ceasefire while trying to prevent another round of direct military confrontation. Donald Trump reportedly held back from a major escalation against Iran as Pentagon concerns over missile stockpiles grew, the New York Times reported. According to the New York Times, dwindling Patriot interceptor inventories became a major factor shaping White House deliberations on further military action. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs General, Dan Kane reportedly warned that another large-scale war with Iran could strain U.S. air defense capabilities across the region. Kane reportedly told officials that expanding operations against Iran could reduce Patriot missile coverage protecting U.S. forces under CENTCOM. The reported concerns over air defense readiness ultimately became a key factor in President Trump's decision-making on possible further escalation. Meanwhile, U.S. Central Command said the American naval blockade against Iran remained fully enforced across the Strait of Hormuz. CENTCOM said U.S. forces redirected 12 commercial vessels that allegedly attempted to bypass the blockade on July 25. The U.S. military said 2 commercial ships were disabled after they ignored repeated warnings and failed to comply with blockade instructions. CENTCOM also said American forces boarded 2 commercial vessels to verify compliance with blockade enforcement measures in the Gulf. According to CENTCOM, a Comoros-flagged tanker was cleared after inspection, while another vessel was disabled for failing to comply. Statement by US CENTCOM said, and I quote, "The US naval blockade against Iran remains in full effect. As of July 25th, CENTCOM has redirected 12 commercial vessels trying to run the blockade, disabled 2 that didn't comply, and boarded 2 to ensure total compliance." Earlier today, US forces completed a verification boarding aboard Comoros-flagged MT Charmana in the Arabian Sea, and the tanker is now continuing its journey. CENTCOM forces disabled Mozambique-flagged MT Levine in the Gulf of Oman, July 24th, after the crew attempted to violate the blockade multiple times and ignored repeated warnings. The ship is no longer transiting to Iran. Unquote.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you'll have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Have you ever wondered what happens when a banking dynasty meets tides of world history, intrigue, and a dash of myth?
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.